In any event, all right, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable over the past week. Today again is Friday, September 30th, and this is the search news at the Search Engine Roundtable. First up, Penguin news. So last week we covered how the Penguin 4.0, the real-time Penguin algorithm, launched. Nobody really saw anything for a few days, and now people are starting to see some fluctuations. There's a couple important things to discuss, and I have a lot of things to discuss around Penguin, so I'll try to go as fast as possible. First up, in the first probably 5-6 days since the 4.0 release, which was a week ago today, very few people saw anything specific around Penguin recoveries or anything like that. The impact was minimal, to say the least. We did see some chatter about it on the 22nd, maybe some earlier in the month as well. Google did tell us several things, which I'll go into in each one, but in terms of the past 5 days after that Friday, so probably through Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday, very few people saw any type of impact in terms of being hit by Penguin or recover from Penguin or anything around that type of stuff around Penguin, even with the big 4.0 Penguin release. A lot of people, as I'm scrolling through this stuff, saw really nothing. We even have a poll, which I'll probably post the results on Monday or Tuesday because I'm offline for the Jewish New Year. We have almost 600 responses, and 73% of you guys said no changes at all. And there were 15 and 12% said there were changes, but it's hard to say if that was Penguin specific or something else. So again, I'm going to probably do another poll on Monday or Tuesday. I'll be offline, but I'll schedule it. Hopefully I'll write it on Sunday or today, and hopefully we get some more information about that. Let's moving on to other Penguin topics. So Gary from Google went ahead and said that you should start seeing Penguin recoveries or improvements because that part of the algorithm actually was released. I think he said this on Wednesday. Let me just bring it up. So he said this on September 28th, which was Wednesday. He said it in the afternoon. It's happening now as we speak. Basically, Penguin recoveries from Penguin 1, 2, and 3, and all those in between have started to roll out starting around Wednesday. And that means the new way of Google handling that, so they're no longer going to penalize or demote those links, which we'll get into soon, but those recoveries started to roll out. And he said it will take a few days. Here's a quote. This is a response to, have penalties from Penguin 3 all been removed? And it's happening as we speak, he said, or as we tweet. It will take a few more days to finish that part. And that's rolling out right now, so I suspect over the weekend, some sites will see this change. They'll see changes in their rankings and so forth. But at the same time, those links that once helped them, they were ranking here before they got hit by Penguin. Then they got hit by Penguin and they were ranking over here. And now when Penguin 4.0 and they're recovered, they're probably ranked somewhere around here because these links that got them over here no longer count. So hopefully that makes somewhat sense to you guys. And let's keep moving on. More Penguin discussion. So they were very secretive about what's going on with the Penguin algorithm, when it rolled out, when it didn't. They said it rolled out on the Friday. Then they said, oh wait, now the penalty removals are rolling out on Wednesday. There's different parts of the Penguin algorithm, according to Gary. And John Mueller said, we're not going to talk about start dates or things like that. We're not going to talk about that. Then Gary says, why does it matter? Why should we talk about it? And so forth. But so we're starting. Some people are on Facebook Live saying, "Yeah, I'm starting to see some leaps." That's good to hear. But basically, going back to this, is we definitely have reason to suspect that Penguin 4.0 started before the 23rd, and it has other things that are rolling out after the 23rd. So we know this past Wednesday, which was the 28th, the recovery aspect of it went live. Before the 23rd, something must have happened because Google said we're not going to announce the start date, but there were parts that happened before. There were parts that happened on the 23rd. There were parts that happened, on the 28th, and there'll probably be parts that happen after. And there'll probably be tweaks to that as Google starts to see things settle around over the course of the next few weeks. So we definitely see that, and it's just interesting to see. So let's go into one of the more important aspects of it is the topic of devalues versus demotes. And in the language, and most people didn't really pay attention to this, mostly because it's my fault. I mean, I probably take blame to this. Is that the values versus demotes. So prior the announcement Google made on Penguin 4.0 is that it devalues the links or devalues the web spam. And prior, it actually demoted. So I got Gary, and look at this conversation here. And this is in a Facebook post of mine, where Gary basically said, traditionally, web spam algorithms, let me zoom into that so you can see it rather than looking at my face. Traditionally, web spam algorithms demote whole sites. With this one, we managed to devalue spam instead of demoting. And it's also more granular in real time. And they're back. And the rollout is complete. I strongly believe, and once the rollout is complete, I strongly believe people will be happier, and that makes me happy. So basically he said, we devalue spam instead of demoting the spam. Okay, and then I asked him, could you explain that? What do you mean by devalue versus demote here? I could, but then you read a post. I'm writing it anyway, so tell me. And let's zoom up here. So he says, okay, demote as in adjust the rank of a site. Devalue as if, oh, look, something's coming down. Let's make sure this won't affect the ranking. So devalue, not going to even look at this. It's not going to impact the ranking of the website. Going on, thank you, and so forth. So basically, you hear that this is basically saying that Google is going to go ahead and basically ignore the links, the spammy links or the spam that's making the site rank so well with Penguin, and go ahead and just ignore them as opposed to demoting the site. So again, you ranked over here because of the Penguin bad links. Then you got penalized by Penguin. A demotion. It's over here now. But now you're devalued. So after this rolls out and you recover, the devalue, you'll start probably ranking over here as opposed to over here because those links that once boosted you, you got demoted and you got even below, but now they're no longer boosting you and they're no longer counted, so you'll go up a little bit because you need to get better rankings. That's a very big distinction in terms of how this Penguin algorithm works. Obviously, it's real time and so forth, so it's very interesting to put those things all together. And finally, on the Penguin side, Gary said, and this is where it all started with the values and when they're rolling out. I wrote a blog post basically saying Gary said this is one of our best and nicest launches. Here's the tweet. Nah, this is exciting. I think this is one of the nicest launches we did in a while, which is great to see. And that all started Gary from Google basically coming out with the parts of the algorithm. They came out before and after, devalue versus demoting, the concept of penalties actually being revoked as a Wednesday, which is great. So all this information is really coming out nicely, and we have a lot of information about Penguin, which we didn't have from the original announcement. All of this saying that now Google's also pushing out other algorithms. And Gary also said you could expect more algorithms and ranking changes over the course of forever. Obviously, Google's not stopping to update their algorithms, their search results. They're constantly doing things. And he says one thing you could always count on is basically Google, expect more changes from Google. So that's very interesting. I keep missing people who are posting comments live, so I apologize. I don't see a way to bring them back up. But anyway, thanks for commenting and watching live. And then those who are watching on the YouTube feed or on iTunes, you could watch us live on Facebook Live if you were up at around 8:30 this morning Eastern Time. All right, let's go into AMP. So this is pretty crazy, actually. So, I think Tuesday night, I was sitting in XMX, and I noticed that AMP pages started showing up on desktop results. Here's a screenshot. You can see this is a desktop SERP, and you can see AMP right over here. AMP right over here. When you clicked on it, it actually did nothing. You just kept clicking, and nothing at all happened. Here's another example. You search for AMP. All these pages come up on desktop with AMP logos, and again, you clicked on it, and nothing at all happened. Google broke the search results because of AMP. Google fixed it about an hour or so later, but it's pretty amazing that Google actually had that bug, and it really impacted some traffic for major sites for that hour period. Now, to get all you SEOs upset, all those technical SEOs upset, John Mueller from Google posted a tweet, and here it is. In my opinion, let me zoom in. In my opinion, SEOs fuss too much about redirects. Use the right one for the job. It's a technical thing, not an SEO thing. It's not voodoo magic. No, it's not voodoo magic. It's actually technical SEO. And of course, this is going to go ahead and cause a lot of anger. I posted this morning, so definitely take a look at that. The reason that he actually posted that is because a lot of people are asking about 302s, 301s, 307s. What's the difference? And he's kind of like saying, we'll handle it. Don't worry about it. Let us just do what's proper for your website, and we'll take care of the rest. Another thing that really bugs me is this whole app indexing thing versus AMP. So As I reported last week, Google said with the AMP launch in the core mobile results that if you have apps, specifically app deep linking with your apps, which I have for the Search and Roundtable, go download our app. It's a really amazing app. You can go to scroundtable.com/app and download it for iOS and Android. In any event, if you have that and you're using deep linking and you're using Firebase app indexing, which I did and I deployed and I spent a nice amount of time building it for our website, if you have all that, your apps will no longer show up, your deep links to your apps will no longer show up in the core mobile results, even if the user has your app, if you deployed AMP. So my site has AMP, we have app, we have Firebase app indexing, we have authorship, we had all the custom search engine features, we have tons of stuff that Google asked us to do, and they keep taking stuff away from us. It's not new, it's something that Google's been doing for a while, and it's just upsetting. And when I asked Maria from Google about this, so I said, so app indexing ranking boost is null if the publisher also has AMP pages, meaning Google used to give a ranking boost for those who deployed app indexing in the search results, but now that apps are no longer showing in the search results, is there a ranking boost? What is it boosting? Is it boosting the AMP pages? And she said, the ranking boost remains for installed apps and a great user engagement through the API, regardless of AMP. But how's that working if the app results are no longer showing? I don't get it. So I asked her, what if the app doesn't show because I have AMP? Do I still get the ranking boost? Does my AMP page get the ranking boost? AMP doesn't get a ranking boost. So these are questions I have, and it's just me bugging Google, and I'm sure Google's very happy about it, and some SEOs get upset by it, but just dig deeper and deeper and deeper just to try to get more information from Google. Google quietly added some science data set structured data to the schema and support it now. So now they support this whole new schema markup called science data sets. And it's specifically for scientific documentation like life sciences, earth sciences, material sciences, and more. But it also could be used for like civic data, like government data, such as weather or population data or taxes, stuff like that. Really for like tabular CSV files. And it's a new file, it's called science data sets, and you can actually mark up your structured data with structured data using this type of markup if you apply to this government data or scientific data stuff, which is pretty cool. So definitely play with that if you have a lot of data on your website. Emojis are back in the search results, at least for certain types of marks. So specifically, I did a search for spam filter service, and up came these green, white checkmark boxes. You can see it over here. Zoom in. So Peter's asking in live, AMP versus app indexing? Yes, AMP is the mobile version of lightweight HTML, and I deployed that. You just do a search for AMP, accelerated mobile pages, and app indexing is basically when you have an app and you do deep linking, and this way gives Google a way to dive into your app content. So I covered that in pretty good detail over the years. In any event, so here's the emojis. These are the green, white check marks, and it's showing up in the search results. You don't have to worry so much, meaning you could try this. They actually specifically embedded these emojis directly in their meta description, so they're playing with Google. They won't be penalized. Google said you don't get penalized for doing this, but they'll try to ignore it. So I guess Google will strip those out soon after they read my blog post. Google Keyword Planner, as you know, they restricted the data and so forth. They said it was due to bots and some bad people. But at XMX East, when they had the Jerry from the Vice VP of Product Management at AdWords, he basically keeps saying over and over again, the reason they removed or restricted the access for some, not many, blah, 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 is because of bad actors. And he kept saying the word bad actors over and over and over again in terms of SEOs. I don't know if he meant SEOs are bad actors or if it was just the way it came out, but it was very, very interesting. There's actually a live or recording on Search Engine Land, on Facebook on Search Engine Land. You can actually watch to see the whole speech if you want to go ahead and see it, and see that Q&A section towards the end where he talked about bad actors in terms of SEOs and so forth. Rounding up, we have AdWords site links, a new linear format, so let's zoom in over here and show it to you. So you can see it over here. It's more of a linear format in 1, 2, 3, 4. It used to be just 2 by 2. So that's changed, so that's nice. Moving on, hopefully finish up the rest fairly quickly. Google My Business has a new page where it talks about working with third parties, and they actually have a whole description about how to work with third parties, how to find them, who to avoid, watch out for deceptive behavior. So that's pretty interesting. It's kind of like working with an SEO, but for Google My Business. Google My Business also updated the Google My Business API to version 3.1. There's a lot of cool new features, including a way to manage push notifications and provide other data. So take a look at that. Google's I'm Feeling Lucky button, the button in the Google search results, which has been there since day one, the I'm Feeling Lucky button seems to be broken. It's no longer working. We'll hopefully get more information from Google on that. And finally, it was Google's 18th birthday this past week, the September 27th, although it's been controversial as to when their actual birthday is. And they had this really cool doodle celebrating their 18th birthday. It's a very big celebration for them. So congratulations to Google for your 18th birthday. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is search news we covered over at the Search and Roundtable at SEOroundtable.com over the past week. Sorry for going so fast. Thanks for those listening live and to those watching on YouTube and iTunes. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll technically be offline on Monday and Tuesday for Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. So anybody who's celebrating, have a happy and healthy New Year. I might schedule some posts around different things that I see on Sunday, and everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.